walked into Ira Gershwin's home for the first time, I was pretty scared to meet Ira because he was the first great songwriter I had ever met, and I didn't know what he was going to be like. But as the door swung open and I saw him sitting at the table, I also saw a piano, which I later discovered was George's piano, paintings that George had done in the house. The house was filled with George's artifacts, and on that first day that I met Ira, I really had the feeling that he was waiting for George to come home any moment. It was as if George were around all the time.
He is around. And 50 years after that Sunday morning in July when George Gershwin died of a brain tumor, we want you to meet some people who knew and loved George and Ira and their music. Ginger Rogers, who starred for the Gershwins on Broadway in 1930, and again in Hollywood in 1936. Michael Feinstein, the young cabaret singer and Gershwin expert who was Ira's secretary for many years. Ella Fitzgerald. She has sung Gershwin's tunes with unparalleled grace and beauty for over 50 years. Lee Gershwin, Ira's widow. And we want to show you some wonderful old films we've dusted off, newsreels and home movies. George on Broadway, about 1930. The Gershwins partying in Beverly Hills and Palm Springs a few months before George's death. George and his mom. George and his dog Tony. George with the actress Paulette Goddard. He had a real crush on her. And the home movies George took of Fred Astaire, rehearsing on the set of Shall We Dance? Let the memories begin.
Shall We Dance was an amazing film because Ira Gershwin's lyrics are eternal. To find a different way of saying I love you with a song like They All Laughed, it's a song that never uses the word love. You know, they all laughed at Christopher Columbus when he said the world was round. They all laughed when Edison recorded sound. Anyway, the bridge goes, they laughed at me wanting you, said I was reaching for the moon, but oh, you came through. Now they'll have to change their tune. Never uses the word love, but it's obviously a love song. That's a pretty neat trick.
He was a genius. George was just the best of the best.
Embrace me, my sweet embrace of you.
When I sing a song, I like to feel like I'm telling a story. And I think when you have beautiful lyrics and a beautiful melody, that's just like you're telling somebody or confessing something.
You and you alone bring out the gypsy in me.
Ira said it took him one day to come up with the line in Embraceable You. Don't be a naughty baby, come to Papa do. One day to get that line because it was the perfect line. Now, George Gershwin wrote so quickly that he told Andre Kostelanetz that he wrote 6 songs a day to get the bad ones out of his system.
By one count, George's songs were heard in nearly 50 musicals of the teens, 20s, and 30s. This is a rare film of Gershwin and the cast of Strike Up the Band.
What's all this noise out here? Let's get going. Let's get some work done.
Say, do you know that you boys are a half hour late for this rehearsal?
George, I was never late in my life. They've had to hold the show several times for me, but I've never been late.
And besides, you boys don't know your lyrics.
I know the lyrics all right, but they're too high. You see, I sing low. I'm basso profundo.
But you still don't know the lyrics to this show.
I'd know the lyrics if you'd write some like you wrote in your Rhapsody in Blues.
Well, listen, you're going to sing this Mademoiselle song and like it, too.
I like all your songs. How are you going to argue with a virtuoso like this?
This same year, Ginger Rogers appeared in Gershwin's Girl Crazy, Embraceable You, But Not For Me, and one of those songs he probably should have gotten out of his system.
They wrote a song for me to do, which, of course, I'll never forgive them.
What's that?
It was called, When It's Cactus Time in Arizona, I'll Be Coming Back to You. You have to have a sense of humor to write that kind of a title.
What did it sound like? Can you remember?
Yeah, when it's cactus time in Arizona, I'll be coming back to you. I'll serenade you with Ramona. Neither southern skies are blue. What a thrill it's going to be to own a little something built for two.
Not exactly an award winner.
No, cactus time in Arizona, I'll be coming back to you. Oh, boy.
Ira told me that the song Someone to Watch Over Me was a lyric that he wrote about himself. And I asked him to explain, and he said that he wrote that song the week he got married. And the line in the bridge, although he may not be the man some girls think of as handsome, to my heart he'll carry the key. Ira said that he was chubby and shy and wore glasses, and he never thought he would win a woman. He always thought he would be alone, and so he wrote that lyric about himself very, very secretly.
Talk to me about Ira. Now, I read someplace that that you had to propose to him. Now, is that right?
Yes, it's true. I knew he was going to somebody else, another girl. So my mother had a large party. Ira was there. And near my mother, I proposed to Ira. I said, "How about it, kid? Time?" He said, "You bet."
It was always in the house, the music?
Always in the house. If it wasn't George playing, it'd be Harold Arlen, one of the other boys. So I'd say there was music in the house 14, 15 hours a day.
They Can't Take That Away From Me was a tune that George played for Ira that went like this. Da, 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 da. And Ira said, "George, if you repeat those notes in the beginning," he said, "I think I've got an idea." And George played, ba, 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 ba. And Ira said, "The way you wear your hat,
the way you sip your tea, the memory of all that. Oh, no, they can't take that away from me, the way your smile just beams, the way you sing off key, the way you haunt my dreams. No, no, they can't take that away from me."
It's deep inspirational stuff, the thing that he and Ira wrote. I think they were the most blessed couple to have the privilege of writing with each other.
Ira never really got over George's death, and he always was a little bit guilty that George died and he lived. Ira felt that he should have been the one to die. He felt George had so much more to give to the world. He couldn't understand why fate could be so fickle as to take George and to leave him.
We should be very grateful to him, especially when you think of things like summertime.
Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich, and your mama is good looking. So hush, little baby, baby, don't you cry.
Our Love Is Here to Stay, of course, is the last song that George Gershwin wrote, and he died before writing the thing down. He had just written a few bars of the melody, and luckily Oscar Levant had heard him play it enough times that he wrote out a piano copy for Ira. But there's something about that song that I find that makes me always happy to sing it. The more I read the papers, the less I comprehend the world and all its capers and how it all will end. Nothing seems to be lasting, but that isn't our affair. We've got something permanent, I mean in the way we care.
it's very clear our love is here to stay. Not for a year, but ever and a day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know may just be passing fancies, and in time may go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble, they're only made of clay.